Do you remember when we thought that 50 was old? Well, we're here now, and we see so many things differently compared to when we were younger. And not only do we see things differently, we feel things differently, we approach things differently, and we want different things. And I have to be honest, me personally, I am loving my 50s. The best part about it is, it's not a one size fits all. Although I might be trading in my high heels for a pair of comfy slippers, I know that there are a lot of older ladies out there who love to dance the night away, who are living their best life, and I'm all for it. I think it's wonderful, and that's the beauty of it. In our 50s, it feels as if we're finding out who we really are. We've found our voice. We know who we are, and we do what's right for us. And that's the way it should be. So if you're interested in taking this journey with me and to have a little bit of fun today, just to see how we approach things now compared to when we were younger. So if you want to take this journey with me, you know what to do. And that is, don't go anywhere.
Get so overwhelming.
Ooh, when I was younger, I couldn't wait to force my feet into a pair of stilettos. High heels back then, they weren't like they are now, where you can get the chunky heel, which is easier to balance on. Back then, there was the stiletto, even though there's still stilettos now. But back then, there wasn't really a lot of choice. It was really just stilettos. And I couldn't wait to force my feet into a pair of those shoes. I used to wear them everywhere. To church, to concerts, to festivals, anywhere that I could go, especially if I knew that boys were going to be there. Ooh. I thought I looked fabulous in my high heels, in my stilettos. Now, I can't do it. I am not squeezing my feet into those torture things. I ain't doing it. Now I live in my Converses, in my All-Stars, or a chunky boot. That's about it. I am running around in my Converses. They are comfortable. They make me feel good. I can dress them up. I can dress them down. And I'm good to go. Today, it's comfort over style every single day of the week.
Get so overwhelming.
How many of you back in the day used to have pen pals? I used to love pen pals. There was something fascinating about it, about talking to someone from the other side of the world maybe, and the anticipation of receiving the letters. I remember going to check my letterbox to see if a letter had arrived. That anticipation, it was so exciting finding people from all over the world and writing to them. And there really was nothing more thrilling than waiting for your next pen pal letter. I remember checking the post every day just to see if a letter had come for me. I used to sneak into my room and read my letters, and a whole new world would open up. I remember I used to write to this one boy, and he was in the Navy, and I don't know what they're called. I think they're petty officers, the youngest ones. You know, the ones in the white outfit with the blue kind of scarf thing around their neck. I think they're the lowest ones in the Navy, I think. But he wasn't to me. He wasn't to me. In my mind, he was Richard Gere with his white suit and the hat. And, it was, you could open up your imagination. Nowadays, the connection, it seems completely different. People will hit you up on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever. They will write to you They will send you all kind of pictures, ask you all kind of questions. There's that intimacy that there was waiting for the pen pals. It's completely lost today. With letters, it was slow. It was deliberate. You had to put in effort to communicate with that person. Now it seems like it's all about instant gratification, about easy access, which, as we see, isn't necessarily always the best thing. Now, without a doubt, social media and technology is a wonderful thing. It really is. But it does kind of make me wonder if we've lost something in the process. That art of really cultivating a relationship over time. It seems like we've kind of lost it, doesn't it? And that we don't really do that anymore. So let me know, what do you think? Has the ease of digital communication caused us to be a little bit lazy, less patient, less willing to put in the time and the effort that is necessary to build a real and meaningful relationship? What do you think?
Get so overwhelming.
When I was younger, I used to live for Friday and Saturday nights, because you better believe that someone somewhere was having a party. Now, oftentimes I was invited, but sometimes I wasn't. But it didn't matter. We used to crash people's parties all the time. And it was accepted just as long as you didn't come with your empty hands, of course. The etiquette was, and I guess it still is, to always bring a bottle. I used to love those house parties. They are some of my happy memories. Those parties would go on all night. You would meet people. I would meet guys. I would have a whale of a time. It was all about being young and embracing my youth. Now, for me, a really exciting night is in front of the TV or the computer, watching something that I choose, something that I want to watch. Give me a tub of Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's chocolate brownies and I'm good. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That is all the excitement that I need. That to me is an exciting evening. And you know what? I don't care. I know for a lot of people it's probably really boring. Couldn't care less. I love a Friday night when everybody else is out doing what they want to do, to be home, tucked away, nice and warm and cozy, my pajamas and slippers, watching, enjoying myself and doing what I want to do at home. I don't have the time now for all that preparing and getting dressed and what am I going to wear and doing my hair and my makeup and too much. I don't miss those days at all. And I embrace the peace and the quiet. I guess I could say my energy has kind of shifted, and what I find fun now has kind of shifted too. But I have to be honest, back in the day, I did have a lot of fun. They were good times, I have to say.
Get so overwhelming.
When I was younger, sex was a big deal. Now, I don't know if it was because my mum instilled in me that you have to be careful around boys. You have to be careful about what you do with boys. You have to be careful what you do with your body. And when I got even older, it was when you're with someone, when you have a partner, you have to make sure that you please them. You have to make sure that you give them what they want. So sex was this thing that was looming. It was there. It had a huge significance. Now, of course it plays its part. But it's not the be-all and end-all. Now, I wouldn't say necessarily that it's a loss of desire, but priorities change. What gives me pleasure now has been simplified. I just want to enjoy what makes me feel good. And I believe that the relationship that we have with our bodies and our desires evolves over time too.
Get so overwhelming.
Now this one, oddly enough, especially from someone like myself who's a musician, when it comes to music, I mean, I love music. Music is my life. That's how I live. It's music. And I remember when I was younger and I used to be driving, going to gigs and places like that, I used to have my music at a volume that if the windows weren't shaking, I couldn't hear it. Everything had to be vibrating. And I remember even at home, I used to love having the music so loud that the walls seemed as if they're caving in. Now, I'm the one that has to say to my daughter, please, my ears, can you please turn down the music a little bit? Now, when I'm in my car going somewhere, I like to listen to a nice little podcast, something's relaxing, music that relaxes me at a nice gentle volume. I don't know what happened. I don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. I like things to be calm, to be soft, to be gentle, to be relaxing. Things don't have to vibrate around me anymore. Well, no. Moving on. Hey, listen, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experiences and what you're discovering as you move on through life's chapters. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe for more conversations like this one.
Get so overwhelming.
When my daughter was younger, she used to play those classical pranks, those usual jump scare ones. She used to do them all the time. She used to love them. I don't know why, but it made her so happy to see me jump. And she used to hide underneath things. And when I passed, she would like touch my leg and let me jump, and I would almost hit the roof. Oh, she used to giggle for hours and hours for that. Now, the other day, I was coming out the bathroom and I was there, minding my own business. And I opened the door. And when I opened the door, she was just like standing there with her eyes wide open. And she was like in the dark. And all I saw was this figure and these eyes. And I jumped so high. My heart was pounding. I screamed. And even though she's 22, she still laughs so hard. I had to tell her that Mum is getting older. You can't be playing those tricks on me now. Back in the day, it was fun. I could handle it. Now my heart is racing. I don't know if she got it because she still laughed so hard. But the truth is, what we might have found fun back then might be a little bit less fun now. Yes, these things can have a completely different impact on the body as you get older. I'm just saying, and I hope the child hears me.
Get so overwhelming.
Now, one of the things that I really love to do is travel. And I love going on holiday. And one of the things that I used to do, and to be honest with you, I don't really understand why, but when I used to sit out in the sun, the more the sun burnt me, the happier I was. Under the sun, I get dark straight away. And I'm talking about really dark. And I absolutely love it. It seems like the darker I get, the more my skin, the softer it becomes. It seems to glow. And I absolutely love it. Seeking shade, it just wasn't in my vocabulary. Where everybody else would kind of go underneath, the umbrellas on the beach. Not me. Not me. I had to be burnt to a crisp. Now, I don't know if it's because I thought, somebody of my color doesn't need to go under the shade. I don't know if that was, I don't know. I can't remember what went through my mind back then. But I know what goes through my mind now, and that is, I ain't got nothing to prove. Why do I have to burn to enjoy my holiday? Why do I have to sizzle? Who am I trying to impress? Now I am putting on the sunscreen. When the sun is really beating down, I am under the shade. Now I'm more aware of for health reasons, right? You think about all the things that can happen to you, like skin cancer and things like that. Now I'm well aware of all those kinds of things, and I want to take care of myself. And I don't feel that I have to prove anything to anybody.
Get so overwhelming.
Now, when I was younger, believe it or not, I used to be quite nimble. I always used to work out or do something. I remember back in the day doing the Jane Fondas and things like that. And one of the things that I used to really love doing, and that was, going backwards until your hands hit the floor behind you with your back arched and just walking around doing that. And another thing which I really enjoy doing, which was lying down, lifting up your feet, and then putting your feet behind your head. And you have to be careful not to put all the weight on your neck. And it was a really good stretch for your back. Now, just getting to the ground is exercise enough. If I was to try those moves now, apart from the fact that I wouldn't be so crazy as to try, but let's just say for argument's sake, if I was to try those moves now, you'd have to call an ambulance, the fire brigade, the paramedics, you'd have to have a helicopter to airlift me, you'd have to have oxygen, you'd have to have... Seriously, my body is not doing all of that now. And again, as I said in the intro, it's not a one size fit all. I know that there are a lot of older women just still crushing it. They're athletic and they're stretchy and they're nimble and they can bend this way and they can bend that way. Unfortunately, your girl, I wasn't lucky that way. I love doing home workouts, but I really hate it when they always seem to go down to the floor. Why do they always have to go down to the floor? I can't do it. It's just, by the time I do bend and creak and get, it's not pretty, it's not good, it's a mess. So yes, there's nothing that we can really do about it. We try to do as much as you can. Try to be in the best shape that you can. But it's a stark reminder that for some of us, our bodies have a certain shelf life. For some things at least.
Get so overwhelming.
Or when I was younger, and if I used to feel a twinge or a pain somewhere that wasn't there before, didn't bother me. It couldn't be anything important, can't be anything serious. I'll get over it. It'll pass. Who cares? No big deal. And back then, of course, I hadn't experienced things like loss and loss of family members and things like that. Life was just one big game and you just took it for what it was. Now, whenever I feel a pain somewhere, especially if it's something that it's a new kind of pain, I'm Googling. Google is my friend. Google is my friend. Google is my doctor. It's my friend. I will Google, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I will always tell myself, don't Google. Don't Google it. Because, but I do. I never listen to myself. I always do. And of course, it always turns out to be some serious illness. It's always something that's going to be life-threatening or fatal. It really is amazing how your mindset differs and changes when you get older, because you're more aware of health problems and then having all that access of information online. It can be a blessing, but also a curse.
Get so overwhelming.
I remember when I was younger, I could eat anything I wanted to eat, any time of the day, as much as I wanted to, and I could go to bed and I was fine. And I remember coming home late from gigs, and I used to arrive home around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And when I have a show, I don't really like to eat. But afterwards, once the adrenaline is all gone, I am starving. And I used to reach home and I used to raid my cupboards. Here in Italy, that common midnight snack is spaghetti with oil and garlic. And I used to come home and I used to make spaghetti, and I used to sit down and I used to eat it, or have things like bread or whatever. And I used to go to bed and I would sleep sound, sleep sweet. It was amazing. Now, if I was to do that, sleep would not be happening for me. And I have to eat hours before I go to bed. Because if I don't, all that reflux, everything will be coming back up while I'm turning in my bed. It's a mess. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to sleep. My stomach would be hurting me. My chest would be hurting me. I would have a headache. It would be like the worst thing. And now I have to behave myself. My body is no longer accepting of all those things. Now I have to accept that our bodies change as we get older. They don't always work as they used to. There are certain foods that I could eat before that I can't eat now. Our bodies change as we get older. They just don't work as they used to. Okay, let me rephrase that. My body doesn't work as it used to. How dare I lump us all in the same boat? Right? How dare I? Excuse me. My body doesn't work as it used to. That's better, right?
Get so overwhelming.
Aging is a process of change. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's challenging, but it's always something that we can connect with. Now, I don't see these changes as losses. I believe that each stage in life has its own unique joys and challenges. It's all about accepting and appreciating where we are right now, and even being a little bit curious about what the next chapter might hold. So as you think about your life, what are some of the things that you've changed? What are you looking forward to? And maybe even a little apprehensive about as you continue to embrace this journey? It's definitely something to think about, right? Thank you so much for stopping by. It was great seeing you. It always is. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. But until then, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao.